On the Water has been brought to you by On the Water, an adventure around this great brown land and beyond. Strap on your life jacket and get set to get wet on the water. G'day and welcome to On the Water for another exciting week. This week we're going to have a chat to Jeff Middleton. We're going to be checking out some wakeboarding action and then we'll head up to Yarrawonga and check out some circuit boats. So strap on your life jacket and get set to get wet. Here we are on board Lionheart with Jeff Middleton. Middo, welcome.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, it's great to be here. Beautiful day.
Oh, it is absolutely fantastic out on Port Phillip Bay. Now, you're the editor of Trader Boat magazine.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, for my sins. It's a great job. Get to muck around with boats and get paid for it. Fantastic.
Well, there are other boating magazines out there, but Trader Boat is the biggest selling publication in Australia.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we're it's a bit of an institution, really, known as the Book of Dreams.
I know I've got many back issues, mate, having a look at the various types of boats for sale in it, and it's got plenty of good advice, insider industry and all that kind of thing.
Yeah, we run a substantial editorial section where we test boats, and we've got a buying used section where we feature a used boat. So and we do engines and electronics and news and products, and it's basically all there.
Oh yeah, it's an absolutely brilliant magazine. Now, we're on board Lionheart. This boat has got a fair bit of history to it, hasn't it?
Oh, it's got a heap of history, KV. I think it's probably the best known boat in Melbourne, if not Australia. It was a tremendous feat that Jesse Martin did when he sailed single-handed and unassisted around the world at the age of 17.
Absolutely brilliant. And you managed to come across this boat floating off a swing mooring, you were telling me.
Yeah, I was in the market for a boat, and not necessarily this one, but something around this size that I could comfortably handle just with my wife and myself. And one of the chaps at the yacht club suggested that I have a look at Lionheart. And initially I had a bit of a laugh about it. I thought, no, I've seen that boat collecting bird crap off a swing mooring at the end of Sandringham Yacht Club, but it's in pretty poor state of repair. But I got in touch with Jesse and went and had a look, and basically everything was there, and I thought, well, with a bit of TLC and a fair swag of dough, it'll come up all right.
And, as we just said, you've bought a piece of Australian yachting history. Now, 17 years old, he took over, 300 and something days to traverse the world?
Yeah, just under a year, I believe. And he lived on this boat, it's not a very big boat, and had to take all his food and had to collect water and basically sail in all kinds of conditions. He went round Cape Horn, the dreaded Cape Horn, and managed that okay. And, he got rolled over a few times, and it was really a great adventure. If you ever get to have a look at the book, or even I think he's put out a DVD.
Yep.
It's a fascinating story, and I'd recommend that to any kid in Australia.
Oh, what, travelling around the world, or just getting out and getting amongst it, you think, and just getting into doing something that's a bit out there?
No, reading the book, mate.
Reading the book? No, you don't sort of advocate sailing around the world solo unassisted.
It's not for everyone.
No, it certainly isn't. And you've got to admire the young man. He's up north in some of the islands there somewhere running a tour, I believe. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he did a bit of work for us on Trader Boat, actually. He had a column for a while. But as I understand it, he's got a catamaran out of New Guinea, and he's running charters out of there. So he's still adventuring.
Good on the young man. You've got to admire that. Now, tell us a little bit about this particular boat. What size is it, and give us a few details on it.
It's a 34-footer. It's called an S&S 34. The S&S is for Sparkman and Stevens, who designed it. They're an American design company, and strangely, this boat they're still making them to this day. And the first one was sailed by Sir Edward Heath, who was a British Prime Minister. And in fact, he won the Sydney Hobart yacht race outright in that boat called Morning Cloud in, I think it was 1968.
So, well, you're not only an editor and an avid yotter, you're also a bloody good historian, mate.
Yeah, Yeah, but it is interesting that they're still making them now at Swarbricks in Western Australia, where this particular boat was built, and they're doing quite well in IRC racing, as well as creating a fantastic cruising boat that's very seaworthy. So they're a well-known boat. There's been plenty of them made. This one was made in 1980.
Yep.
And I've had to do a bit of restoration work on it, but she's still good, and we still win races and have a hell of a good time. Well, this boat's completely set up so that you really don't have to go to the mast. All of the jammers that control the halyards and all your sail controls are all here coming back to the cockpit.
Yep.
We've got self-tailing winches here, as you see. No winches on the mast, so theoretically you don't have to go to the mast unless you want to put the kite up.
And I noticed you've also got built-in stubby holders on the stanchions.
They come in handy from time to time on the hot days down here, mate. Yeah.
I'm sure they do. So what sort of modifications have you done or repairs have you done to the boat since you bought it?
Well, when I got it, as I say, it was in pretty bad shape. We took it out of the water and made sure that everything under the waterline was A-OK. Did quite a bit of work. We dynel sheathed the keel. We re-anti-fouled it, and we lowered down the waterline because the waterline was pretty high because Jesse had it loaded to the gunnels with food and such. We've repainted all the deck in original colours to keep the boat as original as possible.
Yep.
We've put on a new suit of Horizon sails, and the poor old engine wasn't in good shape, so we got a new Yanmar 3-cylinder Yanmar diesel.
Yep.
29 horsepower, and put that in it. So because I figured that we do need a bit of punch for Port Phillip Bay. It can get a bit nasty out here.
Yeah.
We had a 2-cylinder engine before, 22 horsepower, and I thought it just needed a little bit more punch.
Yep.
So we've got that, and 2-bladed gory prop we put on it, folding prop.
Yep.
Makes us a little bit faster through the water if we're racing.
As opposed to a fixed prop, of course.
As opposed to the
fixed blade prop.
Yes, as opposed to the fixed blade prop. But it's a bit of a labour of love, and it's still going on.
Oh, you've done a fantastic job. Now, the cramped conditions that Jesse was living down under there, I was having a look up in the forepeak, and you were telling me earlier off camera that it was stuffed full of food.
That's right. Yeah, the whole forepeak was stuffed full of food. And Jesse slept on the starboard side bunk there, and the rest of the boat was just chockers full of gear. So he didn't have much room to work in.
Oh, jeez, I don't reckon he would have got much sleep either.
I don't think so. I don't think so, especially when it got rough.
Yeah. Middo, thank you very much for taking us out on the bay. It's been a beautiful morning. You couldn't ask for better sailing conditions, just toddling along quite nicely.
Yeah, it's fantastic. In fact, when we go back in, I've got a race after this.
Oh, well, I might join you for that.
Come along, you're more than welcome, mate.
Middo, thanks again, mate.
Pleasure, Cavey.
Coming up next, wakeboarding action. Here we have Travis Osborne, the current Australasian wakeboarding champion, third in the world last year. Trav, welcome to On the Water.
Thanks, Caveman. Thanks for getting me out of bed early on a Sunday.
I'll tell you, mate, it's a fantastic day here on the Murray here at Corowa. Firstly, wakeboarding, it's really taken off in Australia and around the world.
It has, mate. It's probably it's probably the #1 fastest growing water sport, I guess, participation-wise in Australia and the US, and particularly now through Asia now, it's booming. So yeah, it's really kicking off.
How long have you been involved, mate? I know you've been on the Pro Tour for 4 years. How long have you been wakeboarding?
this would be probably my 6th or 7th year seriously wakeboarding. I mean, I grew up here on the river, obviously, and we all mucked around on old surfboards and whatever else we could get our hands on. So, yeah, a few years now.
So that was the advent of wakeboarding. You started off on a surfboard, decided you'd throw a couple of bindings on it and see how it went.
Yeah, I think that's really where it stemmed from. You know, it was sort of a crossover from a lot of sports: snowboarding, surfing, skating. It sort of fused into what we have here, which is a wakeboard, and yeah, it's awesome.
Mate, we've just seen a bit of footage of you belting around there. How long's it taken you to get to that level where you can actually get weight to weight, do a few somersaults and whatnot?
Look, the initial sort of learning curve, you know, for some people takes a little while. It's sort of like a bit of an apprenticeship year, if you like. You know, it takes you, you know, maybe 12 months to sort of really get a gist of the basics. But, you know, once you get those basics down, Pat, it's actually doesn't take long to sort of get yourself up to the point where you're doing a flip or two and, you know, and you're out there having fun.
How is a beginner's board different to an advanced board?
Well, I guess that's the beauty these days. You know, the only difference probably between a beginner board and an advanced board is the price. You know, a lot of the beginner boards now are moulded based off the advanced boards. So, you know, there's really not a lot of difference. A beginner can hop straight on a top-end board if they like, okay, or if they wish just to get into the sport, you know, spend a few less dollars, okay, there's plenty there for the right price.
Righto. Now, the boat itself set up completely different to a normal ski boat. Can you explain the differences with a wakeboard boat and the reasons for it?
Yeah, well, obviously wakeboarding is all about getting maximum airtime. So what they found is obviously the bigger the boat, okay, you know, and the bigger the wake, I guess. So what we have also is things like inbuilt ballast and things like that. So kind of in reverse to a lot of boating type activities, we're actually putting water in the boat rather than emptying it out. So, you know, the deeper the boat sits in the water, the bigger the wake and the more air you can get. Right,
we noticed earlier you were pumping water into the ballast tank at the front, and that's for exactly the same reason.
Yeah. This the boat we've got here with us today is it's got a front and rear ballast system. So yeah, no water bags or anything laying around the boat, plenty of room, frees up lots of space, and yeah, and gives you that big wake that you're looking for.
Right, now the big bars on the back of it there, are they just to hang lights and speakers off, or are they roll bars because you're going too quick? What's the story behind them?
Well, luckily we're never going too quick with wakeboarding, but basically that's the tower, and basically all the top end boats will have a tower system that, you know, they support their board racks and lights and bits and pieces so you can hang your boards out of the way. And what happens also, having a tower, it's a higher towing point, so rather than getting pulled down towards the water, you're getting a bit of an upward lift off the wake, so, and that also helps in getting a bit more air.
Oh, okay, no worries at all. Now, is the shape of the hull, does that also count? Like, is it a deeper V to a normal boat?
Yeah, it makes a huge difference. What they find is I was actually involved in a lot of the research and development with this current model here with Skicraft, and we you know, tried a few different hull designs, and what we found is with a really sort of sharp, deep V, you know, if that continued right through the boat, okay, the boat was a little bit unstable, and the wake was a little bit, you know, too steep and crumbly. So what they find is that most wakeboard boats, they have quite a deep sort of centre V through to it, and where it'll taper off and flatten out towards the back of the hull to get that nice shaped wake that you're looking for.
Right, now the step off the back, is that for any performance, or just easy to get your board on as you're jumping off the back?
We're a pretty lazy bunch, us wakeboarders, so we like things to be as easy and low fuss as possible. So same again, you know, we have a nice flash boarding platform. You can sit back there, put your board on, and then you know, hop into the water and go for it.
Now, is there any length of rope that's required for competition, or do they just say, look, you just go for it, work it out yourself and what best suits you?
No, there's no set length of rope. You'll find most guys I ride somewhere around 80 to 85 feet, and that's pretty much stock standard. You know, most guys are around that area. And there's really I guess that's the coolest thing about wakeboarding, there's really no sort of governing, no rules or laws that say you have to have a rope this long or you have to do this many tricks or whatever. So it's sort of a bit of an expression sort of thing. You go out there and do it your own way.
What sort of power plant's in the boat?
Mate, the new Skicraft XR is running the PCM, the 6 litre 375 horsepower from the US, and yeah, absolutely faultless, tons of horsepower. You know, so when the boat's loaded full of the ballast and all your mates and whatever else, it's yeah, spot on.
I'll notice you've got the Bimini on the top. The Sun Smart campaign have been working hard to get the Bimini on the top, provide the shade during the hot days, so we're not getting red heads and noggins and whatnot.
Yeah, well, that's it, and especially, you know, we do a lot of you know, clinics and you know, coaching and whatever else, you know, demos and promos and stuff, and I can tell you, you know, you spend long hours in the boat every weekend, and you'd be buggered without it.
Yeah, I'm sure. Now you got the. I've noticed there's a pretty good sound system in there as well, so you know you can get rocking on the river too.
Oh mate, the boys at Ski-Craft, she's an absolute. It's a fair unit, the stereo system, so, and that's what it's all about too. It's nothing better than when you're out the back and you can hear the tunes cranking. So
bit of heavy doof doof as you're belting along doing backward somersaults and whatnot.
Yes.
All right, Ozzy, one more question. Can I have a crack?
Mate, I'd be pumped. I can't wait to get you out there, caveman.
Well, we'll see how I go. I don't know how it's actually going to go, but we'll give it a crack. Good on you, mate.
No worries, caveman. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you.
Just as long as they know your name. Do they know your name? Do they?
After the break, circuit boats. Here we are at Yarrawonga on Lake Mulwala to check out the unlimited hydroplanes and displacement boats strut their stuff at up to 160 miles an hour in the 93rd Griffith Cup. The Griffith Cup is the oldest trophy in Australian motorsport history and is like the America's Cup of powerboat racing, with the winner not only taking home the silverware but also taking home the rights for the next challenge. This year we have 3 Kiwi boats out, and you can be sure the Aussies will be flat out determined to keep the trophy on home soil. Dave Bishop is a commentator, competitor and general guru of powerboat racing in this country and is our special guest for this event.
Okay, we're down here now with Tom Heffernan. Welcome to On the Water, first of all, Tom.
Thank you very much.
Tom is one of the guys that builds a lot of the boats. You've built the 3 New Zealand boats that are here, and you've built your own boat, obviously. So, just quickly, maybe a couple of little technical bits and pieces. First of all, we're looking at a big fin down here. Tell us a little bit about what this big fin hanging off the left sponson does.
Okay, that very similar to the ski boat style fin, which is in the middle. This one being on the outside here, because we only turn left, it grabs the water and holds the boat in the turn as you're going around.
Okay, and of course, if you're watching these boats, the big fin there tosses up an absolute truckload of water in the corners. Very spectacular to watch.
Yes, it is. It's quite a lot of water. There's other bits to look for on the way around as you go around. The rooster tail off the boat as you're running along in a straight line, probably to the untrained eye, but if you have a look at it and you see all these dark lines in it, that's each beat of the propeller blade. There's a dark line in the rooster tail.
They're unbelievable things to watch, so people should get down and have a look at them. Now, another great safety development in hydroplane racing over the years. Of course, many years ago, a lot of guys were getting killed in boats in open cockpits. But these boats now have what we call a safety cell in them. Tell us all about that.
Yeah, well, the safety cell on these boats here, there is an inner and outer. The inner one is 8 layers of carbon fibre, half-inch foam sandwich in the same layup again. Then there's a chrome moly roll cage over the front and around each side of it to keep keep other people out. And then there's the outer cell.
Okay, and obviously, what is the actual idea of the safety cell? Obviously, you're strapped in. What stops you from drowning?
We have an onboard air system, which is the large bottle on the back of the boat here, was fairly good. It's got 45 minutes of air, but it lasts about 20 minutes when you're racing because you just start to hyperventilate and start to breathe really heavy. But it's clipped, the mask is clipped onto my helmet, and I breathe it at all times while you're in the boat.
So obviously the key is to not get injured, first of all in an impact, and then once you're not injured, you're able to extricate yourself out of the boat and be safe.
Yeah, well, that's right. If the boat's upside down and you're trapped inside, you can't breathe water, so you've got to breathe something. Then you've got a chance and you can open up the hatch underneath the boat and climb out if someone's around.
Well, Tom, you've built, as I said, not only this boat, the 3 New Zealand boats that are competing here this weekend. I think you might have a little bit of a vested interest. You might be happy if you win. You might even be happy if those sheep likers over there have a bit of a win as well. So a bit of a vested interest there, mate.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty good. There's not a lot of people build them anymore, and to build the boats that have won the Griffiths Cup before, they won the World Series, the A.E. Baker, that style of thing, I'm pretty proud.
Tom Heffernan, the driver of the GP7, the Dragula. Thanks for having a chat with us and giving us a little bit of an insight into Grand Prix hydroplanes, Tom.
Thank you very much.
Here we have Warwick Lupton, driver of Annihilator 1 and the crew chief of the 3 Annihilator boats. Mate, welcome to On the Water.
Yeah, thanks very much, mate.
Now, mate, there's a bit of problems going on here with the other boats. I noticed that there's no one working on yours. You've got the tarp over it at the moment. She must all be good.
Yeah, no, she's looking pretty sweet, eh? It's, we've done all we can do for her, and she can't pull it off on the water now. Well, it's done its thing.
Now, you're over here to try and drag the cup back over to the land along the White Cloud. What do you think your chances are?
Well, the way we're looking at the moment, pretty limited, but yeah, first you've got to get into this final heat. So our ambition is to qualify. If we can qualify and we can get a good start, we'll give them a run for their money, we think.
Yeah, no worries at all, mate. Good luck out there.
Thanks very much.
Okay, we're down here with the current EC Griffith Cup title holder, Matt Ferris, the driver of Tattoo. Matt, first of all, congratulations on last year's Griffith Cup defence title now. Tell us a little bit about your boat.
Our boat's a KT boat. It's a tunnel boat. It's a long sponson hydroplane, a little bit different to the other GP boats that are here. It's running supercharged big block Chev motor, around about 1200 horsepower with a stern drive unit. It's a little bit tighter on the corners than the big hydro boats, but a lot faster around the corners.
The boat was out this morning. It looked very settled. Is that an advantage of the KT tunnel type hull?
Yeah, they're a very easy boat to settle, and they don't get upset by rough water very easily, so they maintain their course over rough or smooth.
And what sort of top speed will you be seeing out of the boat, Matt?
It's hard to say today. We'll drive it as we need to, but worst case scenario, we'll drive it flat out or to pull 170 miles an hour. If we don't have to, we'd rather sort of stick it down around about 150 mile an hour and see how we go.
Well, mate, you won it last year. You're backing up again this year to do it. Good luck. The boat's good. It looks good. It's ready to go. All we can say is good luck, and hope you can pull another EC Griffith Cup.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, mate.
Congratulations, EC Griffith Cup winner, mate. Controversial. You're all right, that's the main thing.
Oh, very controversial. I think Paul and I will have a bit of a beer tonight and have a chat about that. I mean, we just went hard at it, and unfortunate Paul just couldn't get to the finish line because of something that's happened out there, and to be honest, it was just a bit of a blur. At least we're both okay, and it's good to take the silverware home.
Mate, congratulations on taking it home, and it's good to see you all right, mate. I know the missus and your family are great to see you all right, mate, and you're a winner. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Righto, Bisho, it has been a huge Griffith Cup, plenty of action, plenty of controversy. What's your take on it?
Plenty of fast boats, Caveman. Conditions were ideal. Sensational racing. Plenty of action in the actual Griffith Cup with two boats coming together. Just unbelievable.
Great stuff, isn't it, mate? I'd like to thank you for your help up here today, mate. It's appreciated.
Mate, it's an absolute pleasure, and hopefully we'll see you on the water next time as well.
Oh, mate, none of these blokes just give me a go. I don't know what's going on with them. What's wrong?
Oh, maybe just the one seat thing, mate, or maybe they've seen you sail before. I don't know.
Well, there's that, mate. I mean, have a look at how many of those blokes stacked into one another through the course of the weekend. Sure, they couldn't have done any more damage.
I don't think you could have done any worse in a particular instance, mate, but maybe next time you might get into one of those things.
We'll give it a crack. I'd like to thank Scott Lambert for his footage as well. We hope you've enjoyed the show, and remember, if there's anything you want to catch, check out onthewater.com.au, where you can download all of your favourite segments. And stay tuned next week for our last show of this season. And remember, a bad day on the water is better than a good day at work. See you next week. On the Water has been brought to you by